Another bitter afternoon for Everton. And look, we have a lot to talk about in this game. Nicholas Jackson ended up making the difference for Chelsea, and the truth is that he took advantage of a weakness of Arbedo, who, this time, was unable to impose his strength as we expected. A shame, right? What we saw was a lackluster Everton, unable to match the pace of Enzo Maresca's team. And, let's face it, the feeling that remains is, may the next season come soon. And here comes the detail that caused controversy. Tim Sherwood did not hold back on criticizing Pickford during Jackson's goal. Yes, Pickford, who has been one of the few bright spots in Moyes' team lately. But wait, it doesn't stop there. A very questionable decision by referee Chris Kavanagh in the first half could have changed the game completely. Can you believe he let a play that looked like a clear penalty go by? Vitaly Mykolenko had a bad collision with goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. It was the kind of contact that echoes around the stadium, you know? It was a 50-50 challenge, but Richard Keys said it was a penalty. According to him, Sanchez had already lost control of the ball, and even so, the referee let play continue. Now let's be fair, Everton can't blame the refereeing for this time. Despite the scolding with the whistle, what was most worrying was the performance on the field. It's 2 games in a row without scoring a single goal, and the warning signs are already going off. Moyes knows he needs to act, and fast. And look, there's more. It seems that Nathan Patterson has already lost the coach's trust. And with this disappointing performance, it's quite likely that a few more names have been crossed off the list for next season. Is it frustrating? Of course it is. But let's remember, despite the recent setbacks, Everton achieved its main objective this season. Now, the challenge is different. Moyes needs to be surgical in the transfer market. There is no room for error. Get ready, fans. A summer of profound changes is coming for the Toffees, and the expectation is for reconstruction with great ambition. And speaking of changes, hold on to this. Everton is already making moves behind the scenes to strengthen its defense. With the season coming to an end, David Moyes already knows that he will need a new defender, and not on a whim, no. Between departures and injuries, the red alert has been triggered. Michael Keane is expected to say goodbye to the club as soon as his contract ends, and to make matters worse, James Tarkowski suffered a worrying injury against Manchester City. In other words, the situation has become delicate. And let's face it, no one on the blue side of Merseyside wants to see Keane as a regular starter in the final stretch, right? Moyes knows that he needs to act quickly, and look, it seems that there is already a name on the radar. According to information from Caught Offside, Everton is one of the clubs that are keeping an eye on Victor Lindelof from Manchester United. That's right, the Swede, who has already had his great moments at Old Trafford, could be a market opportunity, especially with United giving clear signs that they won't renew his contract. And it doesn't stop there. Fulham, West Ham, Wolverhampton, and even giants like Juventus, Inter Milan, and Benfica are also in the running for the defender. In other words, if Everton really wants Lindelof, they'll have to play hard, but they have an ace up their sleeve. The fact that Lindelof is already accustomed to life in England could weigh in our favor. Less moving for him and his family, you know? Something that sometimes makes all the difference when choosing a player. Jose Mourinho, who worked with Lindelof at United, has heaped praise on the defender in the past, calling him a fantastic role model. And if there's one thing Everton fans love, it's a player with fighting spirit. Now, of course, there's the other side of the coin. Even with Tarkowski out, Jake O'Brien has been doing his job and has been attracting a lot of attention. Would Lindelof be willing to join knowing he would have to fight for a position? It's a question that Moyes and the board will have to answer quickly. One thing is for sure, Everton needs strength and experience in defense for next season. And it's going to be a hot summer at Bramley Moor Dock. Like and share with your friends.